Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about the campaign From Iron Deficient to Iron Sufficient. This campaign was for the public in Myanmar, the host country, designed by the organization Nestle. Nestle is the world's largest food and beverage company and a publicly owned corporation. Its mission is to provide consumers with the best tasting, most nutritious choices of food and beverages. The company claims its vision and value is to be leading competition nutrition, health, and wellness company. A little bit more about the company is that it is over 150 years old and took off after Henry Nestle, its founder, created a nutritious infant cereal that saved children's lives. This global empire has over 2,000 brands with an overarching purpose to contribute to a healthier world and future. This includes improving lives, helping communities, and minimizing their environmental impact. A challenge Nestle has been seeing increasingly over the years is heavy criticism that its products are increasing obesity and contributing to poor health. This goes directly against the company's mission and history of saving children's lives because it provided such nutritious food and beverages. However, an opportunity Nestle saw was Myanmar. 61.6% of children in Myanmar are anemic, iron deficient, and need better nutrition. The country has recognized Nestle for more than 100 years, so they are not a new market. Improving nutrition and saving children's lives, all while making a profit, fits perfectly into Nestle's mission and could prove the skeptics wrong. So let's talk about Myanmar. Important to mention is that Myanmar has another name, Burma. So if you see Burma in this presentation, just know it is still Myanmar being discussed. As a parliamentary republic, the elected representative selects the government according to party strength, not the people themselves. The legislative branch was the Assembly of the Union, but was recently dissolved by the military and is now governed by the State of Administrative Council. The party called the National League for Democracy is attempting to transition away from military dictatorship to democracy, but has not done so successfully, according to Freedom House. Myanmar has been considered one of the least developed countries by the United Nations multiple times. In addition, it has been considered one of the poorest countries in Southeast Asia, with a per capita GDP of a little over $1,000, according to the World Bank. While the economy has slowly been improving, the living standards have not. According to the CIA, approximately 26% of the country's people live in poverty, creating underdeveloped resources and access to those resources. Myanmar ranks number 137 out of 180 countries, with number 180 being the most corrupt. It scored 28 out of 100 in 2020, which is actually up 13 points since 2012. Despite improvement, the legal and structural gaps hinder any anti-corruption efforts. The military acts with impunity, as mentioned previously, and the country's government does little to protect human rights such as freedom of expression and assembly. Despite having around a 75.5% literacy rate, people in Myanmar do not enjoy a free media. It is classified as not free in the Freedom House Index with a freedom score of 28. This low score is because of a few points dug up by the Freedom House's research. First, existing laws in the country allow authorities to deny licenses to outlets whose reporting is considered insulting to religion or a threat to national security. Second, journalists are under heavy surveillance by the military and risk harassment, physical violence, and imprisonment. Online activity is also subject to criminal punishment because of a couple broadly worded legal provisions. The military has filed an increasing number of defamation cases and has even shut down the internet to block information flow. With dire consequences possible, the sheer risk of prosecution encourages self-censorship, lowering overall media freedom. Myanmar's top 5 traditional media are TV, print media, radio, billboards, and sponsorships. In particular, it is important for brands to do event sponsorships to make the Myanmar people feel connected to them. In Myanmar, there is a 33.4% internet penetration. When it comes to internet, social media is what the Myanmar people use and are influenced by. Specifically, Facebook reigns supreme over all other forms of social media. The social media platform is considered an extension to the country's tea shop culture, where gossip and political activity is prevalent. Looking into the Hofstede's cultural dimensions, Myanmar's power distance ranks at 60. This is a relatively high score, implying those less powerful expect and accept that power is distributed unequally. Research shows that ever since the opening of the borders, the increased foreign investment in tourism has increased this power distance score. Back in 2006, it was in the low 20 to 30 range and is expected to rise past this high 60 score. Myanmar's individualism comes in right in the middle with a score of 50. This score means the people's self-image is sometimes individualistic and sometimes collectivistic. The divide is made prominent when looking at tight-knit villages, which have a collectivist image, and the wealthier cities, which have an individualistic image. Myanmar's masculinity score is low, scoring at a 25. The low score depicts a feminine society that values caring for others and quality of life. In these societies, quality of life is a sign of success. Despite the shift to a hierarchical society, the majority of the working adults is a more religious generation who do not value material goods and money, which are typical in masculine cultures. Especially relevant is Myanmar's uncertainty avoidance score. The country scored high at 85. The score highlights the great extent to which the members of Myanmar's culture feel threatened by ambiguous situations and have even created beliefs or institutions to avoid them. The instability in the government and oppressive military foes can be credited to the score. Power struggles surge between corrupt government officials and citizens who want more control. At a score of 55, Myanmar's long-term orientation is mixed. The score describes how the society connects to its past via both traditional and modern approaches. This once again goes back to the divide between village and city life, and the olden ways with advancing globalization. The exact score of indulgence for Myanmar is undetermined. This score is meant to define the extent that people try to control their desires and impulses. However, according to Hofstede, most East Asian countries have low scores on the indulgence cultural dimension. Also, based on my research on the country and its internal structures, it seems likely Myanmar ranks low. A low score would indicate a restrained culture. Now that I have discussed both Myanmar and Nestle, let's look at the SWOT analysis. Some internal strengths include Nestle's global network with over 2,000 brands. It is a well-established company with over 150 years experience. Its product, food and beverage, is a universal necessity, and the products they sell are accessible, therefore they can reach a wide range of audiences. Some internal weaknesses include Nestle's environmentally unsustainable image. They have drained watersheds and have not disputed destructive palm oil production. Simultaneously, the drained watersheds have disrespected indigenous communities since the company did not have prior consent. Irresponsible marketing of its breast milk substitute has been accused of harming children through unethical promotion of infant formula. Some external opportunities are how Myanmar is iron deficient and Nestle's experience with selling fortified foods to help malnutrition. Helping the anemic country is a CSR opportunity. As a feminine society, the country admires a good quality of life, so when Nestle provides a way to improve quality of life with iron-rich foods, it is a factor that can help boost Nestle's image in Myanmar. The fact that Myanmar people feel connected to a brand when it sponsors events allows Nestle to gather rapport simply by sponsoring. Some external threats are how Myanmar is one of the poorest countries in Southeast Asia. This limits production possibilities and audiences' ability to purchase products. While Nestle has been recognized in Myanmar for over 100 years, the subdivision Nestle Myanmar was not truly established. With Myanmar's relatively quick improvement, competition for the Myanmar market has increased drastically. Nestle's primary audience for this campaign were those in most critical need of iron such as infants, young children, and pregnant women, but as globally conscious brand, investors in the company and positive media coverage were a secondary audience. From areas with the most to least anemic women, coastal is most vulnerable, followed by Delta and Central Plains. Some hobbies include reading, cycling, and watching a movie. Myanmar's common industries are agricultural, construction materials, gyms, and more. Let's take a quick look at one campaign video broadcasted in Myanmar by Nestle that demonstrates the angle this campaign took.
Myanmar is undergoing great progress. Despite this, majority of Myanmar's citizens are suffering from iron deficiency, which can hinder its progress. Look around you. Anyone, everyone, even your loved ones, may be at risk of iron deficiency. Common symptoms are fatigue, lower learning capabilities, easily getting sick due to weak immune system. What causes iron deficiency? Imbalanced diet. Genetic and gender predispositions are factors that may lead to this. But there is a way to solve iron deficiency. With balanced nutrition, iron-rich food give iron for the body. With vitamin C-rich food, it strengthens iron absorption in our bodies. We should not ignore the risk of iron deficiency. By eating right with balanced nutrition, we can strengthen our families' bodies and brains.
So the theme of the whole campaign was that eating Nestle's product, Bear Brand, can help families feel stronger by combating the rampant iron deficiency. Instead of a tagline, the campaign had a symbolic strength pose as you saw at the end of that video. Some key messages Nestle wanted to show was that it is a possible solution to the problem of anemia and iron deficiency. Also, it wanted to point out that Bear brand is suitable for all ages and people, just as all ages and people in Myanmar could have anemia. Some supporting messages include how Nestle has been a long-lasting name in the country of Myanmar, so families don't have to be concerned about accepting help from an unfamiliar brand. Also, eating Bear brand could improve either your own or loved one's quality of life, which, as discussed previously, is culturally important to the Myanmar people. Nestle's goal was to decrease anemia in Myanmar by inadvertently dominating the food and beverage market in the country. This goes back to how Nestle wants to be virtuous while making a profit. The campaign's output objective was to create videos and events that would engage audiences, resulting in word-of-mouth marketing in favor of Nestle and Nestle products in Myanmar. Some impact objectives. The informational objective was to increase audience awareness to the widespread iron deficiency through video and events, with the videos either being posted on Facebook or shown on TV. The attitudinal objective was to create a positive image of Nestle among the Myanmar people. The behavior objective was to make Nestle the household name for food and beverage in Myanmar. Nestle wanted audiences to enjoy their product so much that it will in turn dominate the food and beverage market in Myanmar. Nestle encouraged their products to be a centerpiece on Full Moon Day, an important holy day in Myanmar. Nestle also held an Iron Awareness Week event where people could attend, get information, and sometimes receive a checkup. The strategies Nestle had was to host sponsored events that increase awareness of iron deficiency, use Facebook to engage with the Myanmar audience, and through it all provide its audience with a tasty or attractive product to both build rapport and help the malnourished. Specific tactics used was creating a Facebook page for both the Nestle Myanmar and Nestle Bear brand, where audiences can receive digestible information on the causes of anemia and how to improve iron deficiency. Nestle was sure to produce promotional videos like the one showed previously that emphasized how being conscious of eating iron-rich foods can help all parts of life and people, again including the strength pose. The brand also hosted a week-long event that shared information on anemia and offered family programs in addition to featuring doctor and celebrity support. The timetable for this campaign is as follows. Even though Nestle was recognized in Myanmar for over 100 years, Nestle Myanmar was only established in late 2013, which is when the campaign began and they made their Facebook page. The campaign did not really make public appearance in events or substantially on TV until 2018. In an interview, the Nestle Myanmar director estimated the end date to be in 2020, but with no final statement, it was likely pushed back and stunted because of COVID-19. The campaign began receiving rewards in 2019 and even got some in 2020. The main outlet used was Facebook. Nestle Myanmar's Facebook page provided information about the brand and other nutritious Nestle products. The Nestle Bear brand Facebook page continues to emphasize the importance of eating this fortified product. TV was used to bring awareness to the Myanmar people. The company referred back to its original site. Videos of the campaign are available on Vimeo. Other media used include the radio, newspaper, and popular digital media sites like Irrawaddy. Nestle Myanmar's Facebook was more for people to reach the company in a familiar language, Burmese, and preferred social media site Facebook. This allowed for two-way communication and built a relationship between the Myanmar people and Nestle. The Nestle Bear brand Myanmar Facebook was more so focused on spreading awareness of iron deficiency and the solution being Bear brand, which is a sort of advertisement. The strength pose regularly featured before now has a hashtag to go along with it called Bear brand for strong immunity. Overall, once again, two-way communication was achieved. Nestle's site features all of its ambitions and values and also acts as a directory to its sites focused on other regions. The site has written articles and press releases showcasing products and services that provide nutrition and health for people and pets everywhere. Audiences can also contact or report situations that go against the company's principles. The digital media site Irrawaddy is a news outlet Nestle earned media from. This would raise awareness about both anemia and Nestle's efforts. Also, the site was engaging for audiences with a voting system. The campaign video on the left is from Nestle's Facebook and was also available on Vimeo. However, Vimeos are all in Burmese. This picture on the right shows a live stream where doctors and a Myanmar celebrity discusses how helpful Nestle products are in getting enough iron. So how was Nestle helping fight iron deficiency in Myanmar? On Nestle's website, the company revels in the fact it acquired technology made to make Fairy Pro, a syrup designed to address nutritional iron deficiency. With this technology, Bear Brand was born. The first environmental factor affecting this campaign was the economical situation. As one of the poorest countries in the world, Nestle had to get creative with spreading awareness and selling Bear Brand. Taking this into account, the campaign sold Bear Brand at a very low price, sometimes even free. This helps the people get nutrition, builds rapport, and supports Nestle as a household name for the people of Myanmar. The campaign heavily used Facebook, which is the most used social media site on Myanmar. A social media site can be accessed over the phone, which around 40% of Myanmar's population owns. Probably the most taxing fix to this environmental factor is that Nestle has been bringing events to the target audience. It has been traveling to different cities in Myanmar to try and help as many target audiences and spread awareness. Myanmar, as a feminine culture, values caring for others and a good quality of life. They do not value material goods and money. Nestle acknowledges this often in all of its promotional material. The iron deficiency depletes quality of life. Also, spreading awareness about the rampant iron deficiency in the country is caring for others. Brand Bear is not a material good or money, but milk, a necessity for proper development. A less advantageous environmental factor was the lack of freedom of the press. The media freedom in Myanmar is restricted. This means PR practitioners working on the campaign had to become familiar with the country's broadly worded legal provisions that have gotten many journalists thrown in jail if the military feels threatened. Bringing awareness to how poor and malnourished the country is because of corrupt and oppressive government has to be treaded delicately. This is especially true when it comes to social media, which was the campaign's main outlet. The internet overall is undependable since independent coverage and digital services have been blocked or shut down entirely in the past. To ensure the campaign was successful, Nestle did utilize plenty of offline media such as TV and events. It is worth mentioning on its own that the corruption in Myanmar was an environmental factor hanging over the campaign. Myanmar authorities have been caught accepting briberies for more lax surveillance. Freedom House has discussed how the military, which is the government at this point, owns crony companies that allow them to engage in human rights violations with impunity. There is limited information about these companies, but the campaign did not want to get involved with them. Overall oppression to both media and the Myanmar people creates a barrier when gaining permission for events and publishing information as the campaign had intended. It is unclear because of COVID whether the campaign's exact output objectives were met, but they did successfully raise awareness of iron deficiency in Myanmar. Also, via sponsored events and social media, Nestle successfully earned the trust of the Myanmar people. Through this research, the campaign's informational objective to increase the people of Myanmar's awareness of the country's widespread iron deficiency through social media and events was tentatively met. This is because it organized free medical examinations in multiple of the country's most populated cities. It hosted the first Myanmar Iron Awareness Week event, which is now continues every year, and donated 1 million cups of its Bear brand malted milk with the intention of raising awareness while improving the iron deficiency in the Myanmar people. The campaign also received a series of rewards from the Myanmar Employer Awards for 2020 and from Marketing Interactive's PR Awards for 2019. Nestle aimed to increase awareness about iron deficiency to the Myanmar people by hosting a series of events and social media tactics that would eventually remedy the situation by making fortified Nestle products a household name. Nestle successfully quadrupled production in Myanmar and received Myanmar awards. Key takeaways. Through events and social media, the campaign raised awareness of the pre-existing problem. The Myanmar people did not know they were iron deficient or how to fix it. Despite the dangers of media coverage, the campaign primarily utilized social media to reach target audiences and generate awareness. Recommendations. Whenever possible for corporations, they should commit to CSR campaigns, despite difficulties in oppressed markets. When staying committed and flexible, CSR can be beneficial to everyone involved. First off, CSR is an ethical practice that PR professionals should value. In a corrupt market, more than ever, is it valuable to demonstrate that a brand is reliable. This brings me to my second point, brand image. Doing good in the world because the corporation has the resources to do so also has the side effect of improving a brand's image. This was especially beneficial to Nestle, who does not always have the best brand image. A CSR campaign, as demonstrated, can increase brand awareness not only in the host country, but other countries and audiences as well. Lastly, a successful CSR campaign sometimes creates a profit for the company, as was the case with Nestle. A profit is not normally a goal for a CSR campaign, but it is a happy surprise for any company. Here are my resources. Thank you for listening.